We're talking about what happened earlier today at the Unity Fountain that caused, another dismay. Could you explain more to us?
Well, I said after the banning, sort of the illegal banning by the police, when we finished our commemoration on Saturday, we had an inauguration on Friday. So by Sunday, we decided to give the federal government 72 hours to do the right thing and get people off the Unity Fountain, the police men and women that were there. And so we added another 24 hours, making it 96 hours. Today we came in to do our press conference. There were actually a whole lot of, you see the vehicles that were there. There are, I think, over 20. And you have this armored cars, you have this hot water vehicle that they have. They had dogs, they have horses all over the place. And so we came in one van as members, and we walked into the Unity Fountain, and we had a press statement. There were this talk of they were trying to stop us and all of that. They were just saying certain words, but we didn't hit them. We went in and we did our press conference because we know we have the constitutional right to be able to come out and associate freely, freedom of association and freedom of speech. And so we did just that. One of the things that we would not allow the illegality of the space, the public space being shrunk by the federal government, because I do not see any reason why the federal government would deploy such manpower and such equipment to the Unity Fountain to curtail citizens who are simply coming out to make the right demands, to make demands for freedom for girls who have been abducted for over 4 years and 5 days. Meanwhile, Nigerian citizens are being killed, are being massacred, are being butchered all over the country, in different parts of the world. We have gotten, in different parts of the country. We have gotten used to the fact that every morning we wake up to news of Nigerians being killed. And the primary responsibility of government is protection of lives and property.
To make sure that we all get protected.
Then it's not fit to be called the government.
Yes. That's like a very, cogent point that you just made. But now let's go back to the statement by Ahmed Sakilda, where he stated that it's just 15 of the girls that are remaining in captivity, of the Boko Haram that are still alive. And in your press statement earlier today, you stated that you're giving the government an ultimatum to, show proof of life and all of this. Could you expatiate more how the journey has been thus far? Had there been, mutual communication with the government and your group, or has it just been this, hostile confrontation and trying to bring back down your group from, coming out?
Well, April 30th, 2014 was when the movement started on the street. It actually started April 23rd, 2014 on the social media when the hashtag Bring Back Our Girls was created. And of course, it's been such a journey that it should have been a journey of unity between citizens and its government in facing the terrorists and ensuring that not only our Chibok girls, because we've always said that the Chibok girls are a representation of those that were taken before and after them. Not only our Chibok, but every abductee, gets a voice. And we're facing the terrorists and letting them know that we will go after them and we will bring back every Nigerian. But unfortunately, it didn't turn out that way. The previous administration saw us as antagonists, and they came at us, instead of focusing the energy on retrieving our girls and all other abductees, they were more spent on ensuring that the movement breaks away and, attacking us. We've had series of attacks since 2014. That was even when the police, then it was Commissioner Umbu, that was the Commissioner of Police here in Abuja, said he was banning us, and we went to court and we got a judgment. So it's been that way, and right now again we see it the same way. And what is more sad about the whole of this is that this same APC government, then, we talk about Chibok girls. During the campaign, President Muhammadu Buhari himself would talk about Chibok girls. If they were good enough for campaign, then they are good enough for governance. Now he is there. During his inaugural speech, he did say something that the war against Boko Haram will not be said to have been won without the rescue of our Chibok girls and all other abductees. And we are insisting that they must come back. Ahmed Sakida has come out to say that only 15 of our girls are alive. And the government flippantly have just made a statement. What we are saying to them, they say they are negotiating. We want proof of life video. We want to see our daughters. We want each and every one of them seen alive. We want to bring them back home. And then there should be that channel of communication. We have said severally to the government that there should be a feedback mechanism. You do not keep parents in darkness. 4 years in captivity, and you're not saying anything to the press. Let's take Leah Sharibu, for example, one Dapchi girl that was left behind. How can you negotiate and leave a daughter behind? Who does that? And they're going on as if it's business as usual, as if it's okay. And they're patting themselves in the back. When you have a daughter still in captivity, the parents of Aisha Yesufu, as I'm talking to you right now, maybe after this interview they will do that, they haven't spoken to her. The government has not officially said a word to her. The parents who lost 5 children, the government has not said anything to them. The Chibok girls, 112 of them, whose parents are still waiting for them, the government hasn't said anything. That's not the way the government should be. We have a social contract.
That's a really, really sad one. In your statement, Obi Ezekwesili, she made a statement where all of you are stating that all of this, the Dabchi abduction, shouldn't have happened in the first place. Being that after 4 years that Chibok happened, you know, the government should, you know, have the right, you know, measures in place to have prevented this. There were stories that came up after the Dabchi girls were you know, abducted, that, you know, the abductors came into the town and didn't seem to know the school they were going to in particular. Which of these have you, this information have you people received as a group and confirmed to be true?
Well, for us as a movement, we try not to dabble in conspiracy theories. We are always focused on empirical evidence and verifiable facts. And that's why for the 4 years that we've been at, we've not had to recant any statement. So we make sure all the facts are on ground. And so what we did with Dabchi was strange. It's still strange. Because this was exactly the script that was played out in Chibok that happened in Dabchi. And you're wondering, is it that our government never learned anything? And so what we did was to give the government 14 questions, series of questions. And part of those questions were the father, what happened to the Safe School Initiative? Schools were supposed to be protected. How come you left over 300 girls in a school without protection? How come the protection within that area, because we were told that security agents were pulled out, the military did at the end of the day, did confirm them. How come that information, that order went out? Who gave the order? When they pulled out, who did they hand over the security of the area to? And then the terrorists came in and traveled for hundreds of kilometers without meeting any checkpoint. Even in Abuja here, when you're traveling by 8 p.m., you see police checkpoints and all of that. How come in a region where the terrorism is at its high points? You're talking about Adamawa, you're talking about Borno State and Yobe, and then they could travel this distance without meeting anybody. So we asked them a series of questions, and the federal government is yet to answer any of those questions.
Well, that is quite unfortunate. Now, as a group, what measures are you taking in place? You had a judgment that was, you know, granted in your favor to continue, you know, peaceful protests and all of that, and you're facing this backlash from, you know, security agencies and the government. What other steps are you trying to make sure that, you know, your voices are heard and these girls are being brought back?
Well, we are a law-abiding movement, law-abiding citizens, and we'll always go by the law. So we are going to the courts. We take the federal government to court. We take the police, the Nigeria Police Force to court. We'll take the IG, the Commissioner of Police, and all those officers that are in charge of, you know, harassing us personally, in their personal capacity, also to court. Because when we have a judgment, we must be a law-abiding state, and the government, the police itself, is the law enforcer. And no way that the police will now turn itself to lawbreakers. Even by stealing our chairs, that's exactly what they did. We had our chairs chained in, and they came in and packed everything and took them away. And that's absolutely wrong. And so we will continue to do that. We will not give them the legitimate right to take away our right to speak out as citizens. The shrinking space, because it's as if our democracy, there's an attack on our democracy. And it's sad that, you know, Nigerians sit back when attacks are being done, and we assume that, oh, it's on a certain group of people. This is not an attack on BBOG, what the government is doing right now. This is an attack on our democracy, the democracy that a lot of people fought for, the democracy that a lot of people died for. And if we keep quiet, before you know what's happening, every voice will be shut down, and there will not be anything. We'll find ourselves in a dictatorship kind of era, and we will never go back to that era. Never again we would go there. So as a movement, we will continue to come out. Tomorrow, 4:30, we would be there at Unity Fountain, making our demands the way we always have. If they want us to go home and never come out, it's simple. Bring back our Chibok girls, bring back Aisha Yesufu, bring back every Nigerian citizen that is under captivity. Because no Nigerian is more Nigerian than any Nigerian. Yeah. We have a right. The same way if it was a president's daughter that was taken away, or it was a vice president's daughter that was taken away, or the Senate president's daughter that was taken away, or the Speaker of the House of Representatives member that was daughter that was taken away, the same way they are going to act is the way we want them to act for every of our abductees.
That's a very opinionated one and very true, I must say. Now let's say with the start of this 4 years ago, there's been a lot of international, voices being led to the group. People were, more involved. Now it seems that has died down. We've noticed in the media is not, the campaign is not as much. People are not. How is that affecting the group?
For us as a group, it has not affected us in the way that we come out. Because we have said it is not about the numbers, it is about the sincerity of purpose. As long as there's one voice that is demanding bring back our girls, the world, the universe will echo that. In terms of the awareness of the public, of other people, some of them seem to think that, oh, they've moved home, we've packed our bags and we no longer come out to demand. No, we have been demanding every day for our Chibokers and we'll continue to do that. There are so many things, issues happening in the world that are fighting for space, the media coverage space, and so it's understandable. But then I must say that the media has really tried. It has stayed on it. It's 4 years. 4 years, it's not like 4 days or 4 weeks or 4 months. It's 4 years that citizens have been on it, and we've refused to go home. And that's where, you find out that the anger from the government. But one thing that we must understand is the fact that in as much as the world look at the fact that we look at girl child education, and people will always say that the girl child should go to school, she should dare to dream, she should shatter glass ceilings. But the girl child is looking and thinking that this is all a lie. Because 112 of our sisters who dared to do that have been in captivity for 4 years. So attack on Chibok girls is no longer just attack on Nigerian daughters. It's attack on the nation. It's attack on the whole girls in the world. Every child that is out there that is trying to get their education, that is afraid of going to school, it's an attack on that. Because right now you have parents with DAPTI that have happened. Not only the DAPTI was allowed to happen, the terrorists were allowed to come in and just walk into the town and return the girls and had the guts to sit down and preach and tell the parents that they should not send their children to school. At that moment, the Nigerian government ceded power to the terrorists. The damaging effect of that is amazing. Did you see the video of little ones coming out and hailing the terrorists? That means some of them it's like giving them opportunity to recruit members to go with them. Youths are impressionable, young ones are impressionable, teenagers. Then they will begin to follow them on their own volition because they see it as this is power. They are exhibiting power. So as long as, and now those parents are afraid of sending their children to school. Parents all over the world, some of them are afraid of sending their children to school. And it is not fair on any parent to have to make the decision to think of whether to send your child to school or to keep your child safe. And so the world must not move away on Chibok girls. If they move away on Chibok girls, they have allowed the terrorists to win. Because what the terrorists want is to ensure that there is no education. And any war on education, they are here to truncate our humanity. We must ensure that we stand together and rank on this and focus on our humanity. Let me just say this one right now. Terrorist attack to anyone, anywhere in the world is terrorist attack to everyone, everywhere in the world.
Well, that is really a strong one and very, very true. Now, tell us firsthand your experiences with the Nigerian police thus far with all of this. There are lots of stories going on in the media, there are lots of reports. And then even in your press statement, you stated how there's been some illegality and so many impunity happening by the Nigerian police. Could you tell us firsthand what the experience has been like this 4 years?
Well, the experience has been, it's been this way and that way. If you meet the average Nigerian police, man or woman, they want to do the right thing. They know what the right thing, because, it pinches us all. We feel the effect. We feel the effect of the insecurity in the country. Just yesterday we had 3 policemen were killed. In one of the things, I can't remember now whether it's Benue, 3 were killed. And, they feel it. Some of their colleagues have died. And so the ordinary police have that, have that mind. But you see the order coming in from above. They will tell them, do this. And of course they have to, I will give that to them. They have to obey the orders. We've had situations where we had cordial relationship with the police. They will follow us. We do our march. We've been a law-abiding group. They know that. Wherever they see us, they know we will always be disciplined. We will always follow the law. And that's why we've stayed this long. We've stayed 4 years. Then other times the police, we think they want to manhandle us and take us out. We're like, no. You need to look at what has... what's so annoying is the fact that the same script that was played in 2014, 2015 that did not work with BBOG. You can imagine in 2018 you are still playing that script. Hello? Can somebody teach somebody strategy in the Nigerian police force? The IG, the incompetence of the IG of police, it's amazing. This was the same person that was sent to be at his duty post. He abandoned his duty post. And we have a president who, instead of him to fire him, just came out to say that oh, he's loyal to his subordinates, even if they are not loyal to him. We want him to be loyal to the Nigerian people. We are tired of being slaughtered. And so the police will come in at this stage and want to, you know, suppress our rights, deny us our rights. We would not allow that. You know what is so sad? The last time we did our advocacy, we added the LASA women and the UNIMED lecturers. The LASA women, they were on their way to go and bury a police officer who had died, and they were abducted. And amongst them were lecturers, were students, were COP members, and there were police men and women amongst them. The IG never said anything. Federal government of Nigeria never said anything. The Bring Back Our Girls movement had to take on that fight, and we took it on until they were released. It was after they were found that the government, of course, as usual, the photo ops and all of that, take pictures, that's where they came in. But for us, it's about citizens. We don't care whether the police are, they come at us. If anything happens to them, we always demand for them, and that's what we continue to do. Every Nigerian has a right in this country to be a Nigerian. Like I said earlier, no Nigerian is more Nigerian than any Nigerian. The same way that you accord the president security is the same way you accord every individual in this country that same security.
Thank you very much. Now, finally, rounding up this segment, what will you tell us now is the future plans of the group? What is the way forward from today?
Yeah, from today, we'll continue to come out for our sit-out. We continue to make demands for our Chibok girls. We always ask ourselves in one of our chants, when would we stop? We said not until our girls are back and alive, not without our daughters. They are our daughters. We've been hearing, oh, a lot of people tell us we are crying more than the bereaved. They are our daughters. We might not have carried them in our wombs, but we carry them in our hearts. And we'll speak out on behalf of the parents. Yes, some will say, where are the parents? Where are the parents not coming out? Well, sadly, Nigeria is a country where if one is poor, one is faceless, nameless, and voiceless. And we will continue to be the names and the faces and the voices for the parents. We'll continue to make demands. We have to understand something. The demands for our Chibok girls is not doing them a favor. Rescue of our Chibok girls is not a privilege. It's their right as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And so it is the duty of the Nigerian government to ensure that they are brought back home. The Nigerian government failed in its duty to protect them. The next best thing it was supposed to have done was to rescue them immediately. And now we are looking at 4 years and 5 days. And so we said to the Nigerian government, go bring back our daughters, go bring back all Nigerian abductees, and that's it. We'll go home. We don't have anything. Who wants to be on the street? We've been on the street. April 30th, we make it exactly 4 years that we've been on the streets. We've had to pay a lot of prices. Both health-wise, psychologically, everything. We have to do that. We are a movement that is self-funded. It's our resources that we use as members. We have refused to take any funding from anybody, individual, organization, national or internationally, not because people didn't want to bring, but because once we said, as a movement, we're going to sacrifice, and that's what we continue to do. The best thing for government is to realize that the Bring Back Our Girls movement, we are not going anywhere until they bring back our daughters.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And you heard her right. She said they are not going anywhere until the girls are brought back. Now you're still on to PTV today. And this wraps up the end of the news as we finish with our special on Bring Back Our Girls. We had in the studio here Aisha Yesufu. It's a wrap. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.